Example number 2, finding zeros of polynomial function. Find the zeros of fx equals negative 2x to the 4 plus 16x squared minus 32. So first step you want to do is to find the common GCF or common monomial. So the GCF or common monomial is going to be negative 2. You're going to rewrite the equation or function negative 2x to the 4 plus 16x squared minus 32 and put that equal to 0 because you're going to find the zeros. Now you're going to divide each term by negative 2. The reason why we are doing negative 2 because we want to make the first term positive. So factor the negative 2 out. Inside you're going to have x to the 4 minus 8x squared plus 16 equals 0. Now we are going to find the cross, and on top of the cross we write 16 and on the bottom is negative 8. We are looking for two numbers. When we multiply we get 16 and when we add we get negative 8. Those numbers are negative 4 and negative 4. Now I'm going to write the negative 2 as it is outside, and factors are going to be x squared minus 4. X squared minus 4 equals 0. Normally we write x, but here we have x to the 4, so we should write x to the 4 and x to the 4. Now we can break this factor down furthermore by using the formula that is a squared minus b squared equals a minus b times a plus b. So when we are going to use this, the factors of this going to be x minus 2x plus 2 and x minus 2x plus 2. And I applied the formula that is a square minus b square. So x square minus 2 square can be written as x minus 2 times x plus 2. Bring down the negative 2 as it is. So you have two factors, x minus 2 square, x plus 2 square equals 0. You can divide negative 2 on both sides so that negative 2 cancels. And then the factors are x minus 2 square, x plus 2 square equals 0. Put them equal to 0 one by one. So this equal to 0 and x plus 2 square equals 0. You're going to have two x values. X equals 2, x equals negative 2. Since this is a square, it means this is a x equals 2 is a repeating root. So x equals 2 is a repeating 0. X equals negative 2 is also a repeating 0 because you had two factors of x plus 2. When you put them equal to 0 one by one, you get x equals negative 2 repeating, and x equals 2 is also repeating 0. In the next portion, we are going to find the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, we need to set or put x equals 0. So when you put the x equals 0, you get here is negative 2 to the 0 to the 4 power plus 16 times 0 square minus 32. So this becomes 0, this becomes 0. The y-intercept is going to be negative 32. Next thing we are going to discuss is the end behavior. End behavior means that you're going to see what type of the graph this is going to be and the direction. A, or the leading coefficient of this one, is negative 2, which is less than 0. And this is going to be a fourth degree, so degree is 4. it means it's a W-shaped graph. Leading coefficient less than 0 means it's going to face down. So it's going to face down W. So it's going to be like this. Both ends go down. -2 and +2 are going to be their x-intercept. -32 is going to be the y-intercept. Since -2 is a repeating root, it means the graph will touch the -2 and come back. So the graph is going to look like both ends down. It's going to cross the y-axis. And it's going to touch the 2 and come back. So face down W-shaped graph where the x-intercepts are -2 and 2. Since they both are repeating root, it means graph will touch the x-axis and go back. It will cross the y-axis at -32 because y-intercept is -32. Now I'm going to discuss problem number 3. You try number 3 for example number 2. So first of all, we are going to find the x values or x-intercept. We are going to use the zero product property. So we are going to write the function equals 0. And then we are going to find out what is the common monomial. In this case is 3. So we are going to divide the equation or the function by 3. What you get here is 3 common. Inside you left with x to the 4 minus 2x squared plus 1. And we are going to make factors for this one by using the cross. On the top you have 1 and on the bottom you have a middle term that's -2. The two number that you're looking for that gives us multiplication as 1, but when you add you get -2 is -1 and -1. You're going to write 3 as it is. So this 3 as is. This going to be factored as x squared minus 1 times x squared minus 1 equals 0. Now we are going to factor this furthermore, and you're going to get here is 3 again outside as it is. And for the factor that is this one, we're going to apply the a square minus b square formula. So that's going to be a minus b times a plus b. Same thing on the other one, a minus b times a plus b equals 0. Cancel the 3. So now you know the step already. So this 3 can be cancelled when you divide, or just cancel as it is because it's going to go to the other side and become 0 anyway. Now you're going to have 4 factors, but 2 of them are same. So x minus 1 means x minus 1 to the power 2. X plus 1 and x plus 1 means you're going to have x plus 1 to the power of 2 equals 0. So you're going to have x equals 1 as a repeating root. And from the other factor, you're going to get x equals -1. And since it's 2 factors or degree 2, so this one is also a repeating root. So repeated root or repeating 0 or root. Now the next is find y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, you set x equals 0. So f of 0 equals 3 times 0 to the power 4 minus 6 times 0 squared plus 3. So the y-intercept is 3. And behavior, since it's a degree 4, so it's going to be degree 4. So it's either a W shape or U shape. Degree 4, and we have already repeated root. This is going to be a W shape facing up. Since the leading coefficient is 3, that's greater than 0, so which means it's going to face up. Now we are going to graph. So we already know that our repeating roots are -1 and +1. So it's going to be -1, +1. And our y-intercept is 3. It's a facing up and it's not going to cross at -1 or +1. So it's going to look something like this, where it's going to cross at 3 as a y-intercept, and on -1 and 1 it's going to touch and go back. Both arrows are facing up because it's a face up W graph since it's a degree 4 graph. Next is question number 4, and we are going to find the zeros first. So you're going to plug 0 for fx, and now you're going to find out the factor that is common monomial. So the common monomial is x, so you're going to divide the equation or the all terms by x. So what you're going to get, x common, inside you're left with x squared plus x minus 6. We are going to factor this by a cross method. So 6 on the top, or -6 on the top, 1 on the bottom. The two numbers you're looking for, multiply to get -6, add to get 3, is 3 and -2. Gonna use this x as is, so let's write the x as is. And the other two factors are going to be x plus 3, x minus 2 equals 0. Put them equal to 0 one by one because we are going to find x-intercept. So x equals 0, the first one. Then you're going to have x plus 3 equals 0. And then you're going to have x minus 2 equals 0. X 0, x equals -3, and x equals 2. So the 3 x-intercepts. When you find the y-intercept, you're going to plug x as 0. So only the constant is going to be your y-intercept. Here I do not have any y-intercept, so it's going to be 0. And behavior depends on the degree. If the degree of this graph is 3, so it's S-shaped graph. Leading coefficient is greater than 0 because leading coefficient here is 1. So it's going to rise from left to right. So rise left to right, which another word also say fall on left and rise on right. So we can also say that fall on left and rise on right side. So fall on left side, rise on right side. So fall on left side, rise on right side. So that's the graph you're going to get. Now we are going to make a graph here. X value 0, x value -3, and x value 2. So how I'm looking at this graph, this is going to fall on the left side, rise and rise on the right side. So this is the graph that we are going to get. It's also called rise from left to right or fall on left and rise on right. You can see these arrows to make sure your graph is on the right direction.